Now at 9, a move to repeal the death penalty is backed by the Utah County Commission.
We won't kill you if you'll agree to not make us prove our case and serve the rest of your life in prison.
What today's resolution could mean for those still seeking justice.
I'm 100% in shock.
Grieving the loss of her husband while preparing to welcome a new baby.
Gives me some sense of hope of there's something to live for.
How this woman is coping with heartache after death while embracing the joy of expecting a life.
Beautiful fall weather, but what about Halloween weekend? The forecast coming up.
When we play well offensively, we share the ball, then our defense gets better.
And later in sports, the Jazz are 3-0. Rudy Gobert will tell us what makes this team tough to beat.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
The Utah County Commission is asking the legislature to repeal and replace the death penalty. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Emily Tenser, in for Kelly Chapman. As Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher explains, the Utah County Commission passed a resolution today saying the death penalty doesn't actually deliver justice.
A discussion normally reserved for inside the courtroom, instead happening in a commission room about taking the death penalty off the table.
The way that we handle egregious murder in our state is not working. The statistics show us that, and the cost is just too great to the taxpayers.
The Utah County Commission came up with this resolution, laundry listing issues they see with the death penalty, like the cost and lengthy process of appeals, leaving murderers on death row for decades. The resolution asks the state legislature to remove the option from state law. It comes after Utah County Attorney David Levitt announced in September he will no longer seek the death penalty in cases. He spoke at Wednesday's commission meeting, saying it's used by prosecutors as a leverage point to persuade people to plead guilty.
What that really means is that the government of the state of Utah is saying, we won't kill you if you'll agree to not make us prove our case and serve the rest of your life in prison.
He also said seeking the death penalty takes so much time and resources, it takes away from bringing other murder cases to justice. Some spoke against the resolution, like Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith.
So why would we close the door on something that is used in case management, in the strategy of county attorneys?
Commissioner Tom Sakovich ultimately didn't approve the resolution either.
Resolution is a step that's not necessary and may cause confusion in the public.
But Amelia Powers Gardner and Bill Lee did, in hopes the state legislature will take on that discussion from here.
We need the state legislatures to act. We want them to come forward. We want that discussion to happen.
Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
15,000 more doses of vaccine have been administered in Utah since yesterday. That brings the total to 3.7 million. 1.7 million Utahns are considered fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
A little more than 2,000 new cases have been reported since yesterday. There are 538 people currently hospitalized with COVID-19. 22 new COVID-related deaths have been reported. 9 happened prior to October 1st. New tonight, Utah County mother-to-be is grieving after an unthinkable loss.
Her husband, just 28 years old, is among the more than 3,100 Utahns who have lost their lives to COVID-19. He died last weekend. Fox 13's John Franke has her story from Lehigh.
He was so much a part of everything. Like, we were truly, truly best friends.
Notes of support cover the front door of Ashlyn Ritmanick's home.
I'm 100% in shock.
Sunday morning, Marcus, her husband of nearly 5 years,
He's the most amazing person I've ever met.
died after a 2-week battle against COVID-19.
Second week of COVID really started to tank and ended up in the hospital, and then within a matter of maybe a day and a half, just plummeted.
Amid all the grief and pain,
The first thought I had is I'm never going to be able to be happy again.
Ashlyn finds reason to be hopeful.
I remembered I have a baby boy coming that's going to look like him. So that brought me a little bit of joy.
The couple was excited for the arrival of their first child next April.
He's just going to be so precious to all of us because just a little baby Marky.
Even though Marcus won't be here to see his son grow up, Ashlyn is comforted knowing their baby boy will continue his father's legacy.
Gives me some sense of hope of like, there's something to live for at this point.
The days ahead won't be easy.
I'll wake up and think like, oh, he's gonna walk through the door.
But Ashlyn will remember the most important lessons she learned from Marcus to help her find her way through this tragic loss.
He helped me just realize like the things that are important in life are like family and relationships, and that's like what you take with you.
The virus has just taken so much from so many. A GoFundMe is set up to help Ashlyn and her baby boy. If you'd like to help, you can find that link on our website. In Utah County, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Salt Lake City police are investigating what led up to a car being found underwater in a canal.
The car was found this afternoon in the Surplus Canal near Indiana Avenue and DeLong Street. Salt Lake City firefighters say no one was inside the car. They also say they don't know how long the car has been in the water.
People do need to be careful around here because there are barriers along some of this area, but there aren't barriers around all of it. And so people need to watch their speed when they're driving around the canals. And this time of year, they don't think about them being full, but we've had a lot of rain the last few days and the canals are full.
Investigators are still trying to find the registered owner of this car.
We're going to be there for people when they need us. We just can't imagine not doing that.
Workers at Intermountain Healthcare will be required to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Why the company feels the need and what Utah lawmakers have to say about it.
A social media post about a creative way to get rescued in the wild has gone viral. But is the tip no good? What first responders have to say about it.
We're not looking for crazy things. We're just looking for the surgery for our daughter.
A family is fighting their insurance company as their daughter fights severe pain. The message they want all parents to hear.
What is this new ballot that I'm getting?
Thousands of ballots across Utah look different this year. What you need to know before Election Day.
RSL's making a late playoff push starting tonight in Dallas. I'll have the highlights.
Now to a Fox 13 News exclusive. A South Jordan family is getting ready to pay out of pocket for a procedure to help their 13-year-old daughter with scoliosis be less in pain. It's a procedure normally covered by insurance. The Perea family, who uses PEHP, a common insurance for most first responders and teachers in Utah, has deemed the surgery experimental. But vertebral body tethering is FDA approved and minimally invasive. The surgery can only be done for patients who are still growing, which is why the family can't wait any longer.
We're not looking for crazy things. We're just looking for the surgery for our daughter that will help improve the quality of her life. Being the first to get denied for this surgery, I really want parents to be aware that it's a possibility that it can happen.
Their doctor, who's performed about 9 VBT surgeries, has never had an insurance company outright deny coverage. Fox 13 News reached out to PEHP Insurance for a comment. They say they will cover this type of surgery when there is enough data to determine if it's safe. The family will schedule the procedure tomorrow, and it will likely be done next week. The family says they're running out of time and need to get it done.
A new viral Facebook post has search and rescue crews here in Utah and around the country worried about potentially life-threatening consequences. It says, change the voicemail on your phone to a message that gives your approximate location, the time, the date, your situation. Facebook has already flagged the post as having partially false information. Search and rescue crews say your outgoing voicemail will not change if you have no service. And if you do have service, you should call 911 because you can be located by dispatch even if the call is disconnected.
With a text, our dispatch center does not get a ping, so we don't know the location of where you're at, and that's key what we're looking for.
The bottom line, search and rescue crews agree, don't try to change your voicemail if you're in an emergency. As an alternative, tell a trusted person where you're going and when you expect to be back.
Well, good evening. I'm Fox 13 meteorologist Tina Friedman with your forecast. It was a beautiful evening after a little bit of sun and mixing with clouds. Chris sent in this great sunset photo. Thank you so much. It's cooling off now as the sun goes down with mostly clear skies. 48 in Draper and 45 in Tooele. About 50 degrees here in Salt Lake, 45 in Price. It's still in the 40s in Moab and nearly 60 degrees still in St. George. Mostly clear skies tonight. We've got high pressure around, so not a lot on the weather picture here. It's pretty quiet in the next 24 hours. Today we reached a high of 58 degrees, pretty much close to average, which was 60, but the past few days were just wet. And check it out. We'll pull up some climate data for you. This is always fun. So in October average, we get about 1¼ inches of rain. 2021 coming in at 3.49. So looks like it's about the 6th or 7th wettest October on record. Some of these records go far back. We had one that was just below this. The 3.27 was in the 1870s. Wow. So normally we don't have so much wet weather in October, but boy, we could use it. Barely making a dent in our drought situation. Looking up ahead, there's not much going on. We've got high pressure around, and with high pressure, you just don't have a lot of active weather at all. The next cold front starts to move through late Saturday night. Right now, we're just looking at mostly clouds. There could be a stray shower on Sunday. That's on Halloween. For tonight, though, we do have clear skies, 39 in Salt Lake, 42 in St. George. And then tomorrow, we should have a good deal of sunshine. Beautiful fall weather, up to 60 in Salt Lake, 74 for St. George, 61 in Price. Great set of days to be in southern Utah. Oh my goodness, perfect. Halloween looks good too. Temperatures in the 70s, lows in the upper 40s, not bad at all. And then for the Wasatch Front, we've got a great few days here, and there's that chance for just some passing showers on Sunday, but otherwise high temperatures around 60 with lots of sun and dry weather.
All right, Dina, thank you so much. Still ahead, after more than a year of debate, we now know what the proposed new name of Dixie State University will be, what it is, and what comes next.
Today, the Gun Violence Prevention Center in Utah teamed up with the League of Women Voters to bring awareness to gun violence in Utah. The center held its annual planting of flowers at the Ogden Botanical Garden. They planted 429 daffodils, representing each Utahn life lost to gun violence in 2020. The Gun Violence Prevention Center is also working with the Suicide Prevention Coalition to bring awareness to gun violence in Utah.
After lots of deliberation, the Utah Board of Higher Education is unanimously recommending a new name for Dixie State University. The school's Board of Trustees is proposing the name Utah Tech University to the State Board of Education. The recommendation came after several studies and extensive public feedback. The goal was to find a name that reflects the institution's mission and significance to the region. The choice of names now goes to the legislature, which has the final say.
Intermountain Healthcare is putting its foot down regarding COVID-19 vaccines, what that means to employees of the big medical service provider.
Some Utah voters are seeing something on their ballots they've never seen before, what it is and how it changes the upcoming election.
Coming up in sports, some great races and fast times at the high school state cross-country championships. And RSL needed a win tonight in Dallas to improve their playoff chances. They came on strong in the final 10 minutes. The highlights are on the way.
Intermountain Healthcare announced today it will require caregivers to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Caregivers and others working at Intermountain Healthcare facilities have until January 5th to get at least one dose of Pfizer or Moderna or get the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine. The due date for the second dose of either Pfizer or Moderna is February 9th.
We will comply with these new standards, just like we comply with current state standards and other federal standards to provide that care.
Employees can apply for vaccine exemptions with medical conditions or religious beliefs.
Utah House Speaker Brad Wilson has spoken out against government vaccine mandates, but today he appeared okay with this decision from Intermountain Healthcare.
We need our healthcare system to take care of Medicaid and Medicare recipients. And so I think they're trying to manage this as best as they can. And of course, they're a pretty important part of our healthcare system in the state.
Speaker Wilson says the legislature may still look at setting limits on vaccine mandates, calling it overreach by the federal government.
Thousands of Utah voters are filling out ballots they've never seen before. These 23 cities offer ranked choice voting ahead of Election Day next Tuesday. Ranked choice voting lets voters pick candidates in the order of preference instead of choosing just one. Overall, ranked choice voting appears to be going well in Salt Lake and Utah counties. Ballots must be postmarked by Monday to be counted on Tuesday, which is Election Day.
6 teams battling for the Final Four playoff spots in Major League Soccer's Western Conference. RSL went into their match tonight at FC Dallas below the playoff line in 9th place with 4 matches to play. FC Dallas out of playoff contention, but they controlled the game in the first half. Matt Hedges heads it in for a goal to put FC Dallas up 1-0 in the 20th minute. RSL came to life late in the second half. Justin Meram sends it in. Damir Kreilach gets a foot on it and scores his 15th goal of the season, tying the score at 1 in the 80th minute. Then in the 90th minute, Albert Rusnak works the give and go with Meram, and Albert one times it with the left foot and scores. Meram was great as a second half sub, and Rusnak's 8th goal of the season, the game winner. RSL won it 2-1 to pick up 3 huge points on the road. The Jazz off to a 3-0 start after beating the Denver Nuggets last night. Jazz really stepped it up in the fourth quarter, playing solid defense and sharing the basketball on the offensive end. When they do that, they're tough to beat.
It's kind of the cycle when we play well offensively, we share the ball, then our defense gets better. Or because our defense gets better, we move the ball. I don't know, but I like when that happens, and that's when we play our best basketball.
Next up, the Jazz start a 3-game road trip in Houston tomorrow. It was the high school state cross-country championships in Salt Lake City. The 6A boys battle between 2 teams ranked in the top 10 nationally. Number 5 Farmington and number 10 American Fork. Farmington had 4 runners in the finish in the top 10. They won the team state championship. American Fork was second, led by individual state champion Nathan Jaster in a time of 14:55.
I mean, this whole season I've kind of been dealing with some sickness, just breathing problems. So today was really a good day for me.
6A girls, American Fork went in ranked 20th in the country. They had 3 runners finish in the top 10. AF won the team title just ahead of Lone Peak. The individual championship came down to Addie Bruning of Harriman and Avalon Meacham of American Fork. Bruning pulled ahead down the stretch to win the race with a time of 17:28.
The beginning of the race, I was trying to just turn my brain off and not worry about anything. And I knew that towards the end of the race, I have a really good kick. So I had to just save that to the last 100 meters or so. I still can't believe it, actually. Is this a dream?
It's real.
Aw, thanks, Jeff.
Quickcast is next.